My name is Michael Jen. I'm a 4th degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and also a black belt in Judo. I am also the head instructor of Smash Gyms, and we have 3 locations in Milpitas, Sunnyvale, and San Jose. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu since 1991, so that's before the first UFC, and continue to teach and study the art. When you look at every grappling art throughout history from all different countries, when it comes to getting that fight to the ground, virtually every single one that I've seen, it's people fighting for top position, always in here. Now, if we look at why this is, it's pretty simple, because all martial arts, even the sportive aspects, right, were based upon the principle behind it is combat and self-defense, right? So most of the time how these martial arts sports evolved was that you have these martial arts that were designed for combat and self-defense, but people wanted a way to train it during non-war times, or just training it just in general here, right? So once again, if you look at it from that context there, that is why we see from all cultures, when it comes to grappling, there's always this constant battle to get on top, to take people down here. You can even see this in the animal kingdom. You see majority of the time, not 100%, but majority of the time, you see 2 animals fighting. It's that one animal wants to be on top. It's much more dominant there. Currently in Jiu-Jitsu, things have changed because there's more, the sport has taken over and grown in a way in which winning and those medals and the titles is paramount to people. They hold that of great value, all right? So they don't want to get scored on. They want to get, it's natural for people in competition to play within the confines of the rules and find the easiest way to win. That's natural, there's nothing wrong with it, and we see this with all sports, and that's why all sports have certain rules there, not just for safety, but to push the action and the spirit of that particular sport. But if you look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even the point system, historically, what is the point system based upon? It's based upon fighting. It's based upon combat and self-defense. Why is back and mount worth 4 points, the most here? Because it's the most dominant position when it comes to striking your partner and not getting hit. So if you look at, once again, the point system for Jiu-Jitsu, it's based upon combat and fighting here. Now, once again, so it's important to keep that in mind, and so we have that historical context of martial arts, and then we have the modern thing, once again, of people winning. And so people, I think that naturally people, in finding the easiest way to win, let's start pulling guard fast, because I don't want to get scored on, okay? Right, and so if you really see, like, to me, what I really don't like is the double guard pulling, right? Because what's the reason for double guard pulling? Because somebody doesn't want to get scored on. Somebody pulls guard, you don't want to get swept, so the other person pulls guard here, right? And so, for me, I don't necessarily feel that embodies, especially the double guard pull, embodies the spirit of the fighting art of martial arts. Now, that is not to say that those people who do that aren't great jiu-jitsu players. It doesn't mean that they're not incredible athletes and incredible submission artists, but I think that fighting for top position and fighting for that takedown, it does something to embody that spirit of the martial art and the fighting arts. My opinion also is a result of just being a spectator and a person who watches jiu-jitsu. I just don't think 2 guys running up to each other and sitting on their butts is just very entertaining. I've taken people who have no familiarity with judo, like parents and friends and even jiu-jitsu students, taken them to judo tournaments. These people have no idea about the art of judo, and when they watch it, immediately they're entertained. They see bodies flying in the air. They don't know the rules. They just see people getting launched. They're like, man, this is really cool. This is amazing. And When I have tried to sometimes show people jujitsu, and you see two people just walk up to each other, sit their butts down here, that doesn't put awe into people. That doesn't make them go, man, this is really cool. I want to watch this here. Like I said, I think that, I understand why the competitors do it as far as winning, but I think myself and many of you ask a lot of the more old school jiu-jitsu instructors, they just don't find that entertaining. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that I'm completely against guard pulling. I do believe there's a time and a place for it. If you are faced with an opponent with vastly superior takedown ability, absolutely pull guard, okay? And so, but if you look at jiu-jitsu, rather than guard pulling being the last resort against somebody who is superior when it comes to takedowns or even size or whatever like this, it becomes people's first resort here. And so for me, I said I'm not against it. Once again, I do believe there is a time and place for it there. In training, I have no problem with people doing that there. I think that, like I said, we're isolating the ground. Judo, when they focus on newaza, the groundwork, they start on the ground here, and they'll have one person maybe pull guard or whatever because they're isolating that. So my comments are more toward the competition aspect of it, and doesn't necessarily apply to just training for fun. I understand that training takedowns also increases chances of injury. I'm fully aware of that there. And one thing that I tell my own students is that if you have no interest in competing, doing takedowns is not really necessary for you. You're just doing jiu-jitsu for fun. You're just training in class here. That's fine. There's really, even when they get to a higher level, it's not really a high priority. I do tell my own students that if they want a competitive advantage, I do believe that they should train takedowns there. I understand that it's much harder on the body to train takedowns, especially when you get older in age. If you look at most older judo players, most of them, they prefer to do groundwork. They don't like getting thrown even in training. Now, with that being said, I think that ultimately it comes down to, as far as fixing what I perceive as maybe a problem is the organizations and the rules. And the IBJJF and other organizations have taken some steps, right? I believe now the rule is if there's a double guard pull after a certain amount of seconds, if that happens, then they stand them back up or something like that there, right? So that's much better than in the past when they infinitely could just sit in those positions, and those were just horribly boring matches. But I think that ultimately it comes down to the organizations and what sort of, the spirit of martial arts do those organizations embody, and what is it that they want to promote there, And but like I said, I think there are some changes, and there are some organizations that are altering the rules to make it a little more spectator friendly, and like I said, embody that spirit of martial arts.